Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I've got a card that uses several different techniques and was also introducing some of the new products from the 2022-2023 annual Stampin' Up catalogue. So the first one I'm going to share with you is called the Split Card Textures dies, and you get these two dies in the pack like this, one giving you this, I'm not quite sure what to call this design, and then the other giving you a bit of a plaid, and I've cut another one out so that you can see. So you've got kind of one side of the card of the diagonal that's been perforated, and then the other is clear for you to decorate up. So we're gonna use the I wish I could think of a name to call it, but anyway, we're going to use this die, and with the large cut and emboss machine, you're going to need to set it up with the number 1 plate down first, then your adapter, which is the number 2 plate, and then you're going to need one of the number 3 plates to go down first. Then you're going to get your piece of card, and then you're going to place the die, and you want to place the die so that you're kind of getting an even border top and bottom and on this side here, and to just ensure that it doesn't move, I'm going to put a tiny little bit of washi tape on a couple of the corners there. I think I've got it in fairly well positioned. Just a tiny little bit just to hold it in place. And then I've got another top plate, the number 3 clear plate, and I'm just going to slide that in. Now, I found it easier to crank if you put the thin end of the die in first. So I'm going to push all of this in and now start to crank. It just seems easier that as the die gets wider, it just goes through easier rather than hitting that big lump, that big wide piece at the beginning there. So I'm just going to crank that through. Now I like to crank mine through slowly, and that gives it a chance for the rollers on the embossing machine to put pressure on the cutting edge, and then you get a good cut. And so when I pull that out, well, all my little bits have come out. I don't think I've got any little pieces that I need to use my pick your tool to push out. So that was a success. So that's one of the new products that I wanted to introduce you to, and you can see it makes a lovely effect on your card. Now the next is one of the stamps, and this is what's known as a background stamp, and you can see it's a beautiful medallion with lots of beautiful detail on it, and I'm sure that I shall be using it to share more projects with you in the future. So that's my next product that we've got. So I'm going to pop this on a piece of paper, and I've put this on one of the largest block. Normally I would use my Stamparatus to use a stamp of this size, because I've actually got arthritis in my hand and it is a bit uncomfortable to do that. But I'd already put it on my block to make my card, my sample, and I thought, oh no, I'm just going to leave it as it is. So I need to just stamp on obviously one side of the card, and I want to find how far in I need to put it to get the maximum amount of my image without going onto my cut piece here. And I also am going to put a greeting down here, so that's why I need to just sort of gauge it all out before I put the ink to it. So I know I only need to put ink really on this half. And to keep with the vintagey theme, I'm going to use Early Espresso. This is one of my favorite darker colors. It's more gentle than black, and it just goes with practically any other color that if you care to use. So on a big stamp like this, I usually introduce my ink like this. Now I have got some ink on the side of the stamp, and I want to get rid of that because I don't want it to get onto my card. And so I'm just going to use this disgraceful piece of toweling to just get rid of that. And I think I've got ink on all the bits, so I need to make sure that I'm using this side of the stamp. Because I've been delayed a bit, I'm going to huff on this to just kind of just moisturize the ink a little, so bear with me. Oh, right, made me cough now. So I'm going to pop this up. I want to try and get, as I say, the maximum. Right. Press firmly, and then we'll see what we get. So I'm making sure that I catch all the outer edges of the stamp as well as in the middle. That way I should get a good transfer of ink. There, lovely. I love that. That's just what I wanted. So I'll get that out of the way so I don't get ink all over myself. And then my other product is the go-to greetings. So the Pretty Medallion doesn't have any greetings, and as you know, if you follow me, I tend to like to use one stamp set per project, but sometimes you get a great image, no words, and then you get some great words with no images. So these two stamp sets go really well together. I have used this before on a couple of projects, and if you haven't seen me use it, the reason I like this so much, number one, is the great fonts. I love these fonts. And we've got the same 4 greetings in 3 different, 3 different sizes and 3 different fonts. And then we've got this little hello stuck in there as well, which I've used on a couple of projects. So I am just going to use thank you. I could use one of the others, but I've only got a little space here, so I want to use something as small as I can. So I'm using my Early Espresso ink again, and I've put ink on it, and I'm just making sure that I don't get any ink on this edge, because that can sometimes transfer onto my card and produce like a little halo. So I'm going to try and get this straight without getting my head in the camera. There we go. Did I succeed? Did I get my head in the camera? I guess I'll see when I look at the video before I publish it. So there's our 2 little stamps. Now I'm going to take this out before I get covered in ink. So those are my new products. Now we're going to go and remember that we do have other products that we've had for some while, and that is our lovely Wink of Stella. And this is the liquid glitter, and the glitter, the liquid is in this barrel, and then obviously there's a brush end. But when you receive these, if you put this on your order, when you receive these, it will have a black band at this point here. and that's to stop the ink leaking out while it's in transit and storage and all that good stuff. So when you come to use it, you can squeeze and squeeze and squeeze all you like. The ink will not flow through to the brush until you take that little black ring off and then pop it back together. And then you want to just squeeze it very gently, because this is it's very runny liquid. It's not like a thick liquid. And if you're not careful, it'll come out of the end all over your work surface, or heaven forbid, all over your project. So I'm actually going to use this to smoosh the ink that I've already put on my card. And what it's doing is it's just picking up a little of the ink and sort of colouring in the bits of the image that I want coloured in. I'm not going to do it all, but these sort of wavy bits look as though that they're good for being coloured. And of course, the other thing that it does is that it adds some very subtle glitter to where you've used it as well. So maybe if I can bring this up, maybe you can just see. It's not working terribly well. The light isn't picking it up, but you can see that the ink is actually, I've picked up a little ink and I've smooshed it around the stamped image. And you can do as much or as little as you want. As I say, I'm not going to do it all. I'm just going to do just a little bit, and then I can come back and do it after I've finished the video and before I photograph it for my blog post. So there you can see, hopefully, just a little bit, and it's just kind of enhancing the vintage look. Then again, to bring the vintage in even more, I'm going to remind you of our sponge daubers. These are great for putting some sponging on the edges of your card. You can use a blending brush, and I do that a lot, but I just wanted to remind you that we've got our sponge daubers out there, and they come in a pack of 5, and I like to use them a lot. So I'm using one of the paler browns in our family of colours, or neutral colours in the Stampin' Up family, and this is soft suede. So there's that part there, and I can do the same around the piece I'm going to put inside, just to sort of bring the vintage bit even further. There, it's really quick to do, and it really does enhance the vintageness. And if you want to add another little bit of distressing onto your card, you can get your paper snips, which I seem to have temporarily misplaced, but I do have these. You have to be very careful. You're going to open them up, but keep your fingers away from the blade. And you can actually run your scissors down and sort of scuff up the edges of the card, And that, as I say, just gives it even more of a shabby chic sort of flavour. Yeah, now we have to be a bit careful down here because it's quite a thin piece of card. Now, I didn't do this on my original sample. It wasn't until I was working this that I realised that that's what I could do. Now, I caught it a little bit there, and I caught with the scissors, caught the edge, but that all adds to the effect. So this one I put on soft suede. This one I'm going to put on a piece of early espresso. And those of you who know me know that I do like to use my liquid adhesive. So I'm going to very carefully put some little dots down that side there, and then a few little dots in those plain patches like that. There we go. And add it to the front. And the reason why I like to use the liquid glue is that it gives me some working time. So if I haven't quite got it centered, you can just sort of ease it with your thumbs and push it into the center. And then we do the same with the liner. And then I've got one more quick technique to remind you, and that is how to color some ribbon. So there we have that done there. Now, ribbon, colouring ribbon. This is the Whisper White, and it's crinkled seam binding. And with it being crinkled, that even adds to the shabby chicness of the ribbon itself. And I am going to get my sponge dauber again and my soft suede, and I'm just going to rub some ink along here. Now, I'm not looking for it to be even, because again, that adds to the shabby chicness. This reminds me like it's been dipped in and dyed with cold tea. And you see, I'll just show it you here. You can see where it's white on the one side and then it's picked up the colour. And you'll want to go ahead and do the other side as well. Now, I've got several videos on mastering ribbon techniques that I've done over the last few years. And so what I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to attempt to tie a bow with this piece of coloured ribbon. So I do my bows with a rabbit ear. I sort of do my 2 rabbit ears like this, and then I take it and I put this loop here through the loop, the crossed over loop below, and just gently pull like that, and then tie it up a little tighter. And there. And then I'm just going to trim that off. Let's see. Well, the way that tail is going that way. There we go. And then just to add it to my card with a mini glue dot. And maybe I kind of, where should I pop it? I'll pop it over there in a different place to the last one, but who says they have to be exactly the same? So there we've got them in 2 slightly different colours, one in soft suede and the other in Early Espresso. I don't know which one I prefer, but they're both equally as nice. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, the new products that I've introduced you to, and some techniques, and reminding you of a couple of products we've been enjoying over the last few years. If you've enjoyed my video, please go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Any comments are gratefully received. And if you don't already, perhaps you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Well, thank you for joining me today. Bye for now.